Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Communicator activity badge for the Beavers. This is a pretty interesting one and actually is quite important as a life skill, especially in the modern age. As you'll see, there's a lot of parts of this requirements that are related to digital skills, such as phone calls, learning your phone number. I'd say this can also be your parents' phone number if they don't have a phone themselves, and learn how to send an email or text message. These should be very easy to do and tick off as part of the requirements here for this badge. It's really the bottom two that are the ones that are more difficult to do for Beavers. Spelling your name in Morse code, semaphore, phonetic alphabet, or pictures or symbols may be difficult. I would focus on the phonetic alphabet. It's pretty easy to learn that, and it serves everybody well in modern life. If you're ever on the phone call to a call center and they're asking you to read out a number or a name, or if your last name is spelt particularly strangely, then knowing the phonetic alphabet is something that's universally recognized by most people as ways of saying out words. So if I was going to say apple, I could go Alpha, Papa, Papa, Lima, Echo, right? And people will understand that rather than going A for Amsterdam or whatever, right? Or P for pseudonym or something, right? That's a much more simplistic way of doing things, and phonetic alphabet is recognized internationally. And the reason why the phonetic alphabet exists is so that people can recognize the words from each other in the easiest possible way. Things like Morse code and semaphore. Semaphore requires very specific flags. You could print them out onto pieces of paper and use blue tack or tape to put them to sticks. That would be one way of doing semaphore. But that's potentially less useful in the long run. It might be more of an interesting activity for the beavers. So, but just be aware of the equipment requirements there. And Morse code is kind of difficult. Morse code, I'd say, is probably more of a cub or even a scout activity, because of the complexity of trying to remember every single letter with dots and dashes, whereas phonetic alphabet is much easier to memorize. I'd steer clear of pictures and symbols because they're not particularly useful or applicable to the wider world, and this is a good chance to give the beavers at least some introduction to things that may serve them well later in life, like the phonetic alphabet. The very bottom here, the last requirement we have, I try to work out a simple message given to you in Morse code, semaphore, phonetic alphabet, or pictures and symbols. Again, just basically after you've learned how to spell your name, perhaps being given a dictionary of what each of these means, then they can then figure out a simple message. And it's very easy to earn this communicator badge. It's not difficult at all, really, to do so. I would say that this does actually account for a couple of other badges too. The safety activity badge, being able to call the emergency services is one of the requirements there. So obviously learning how to make a phone call, if you add into the curriculum here what the emergency numbers are and sort of what to say once you pick up the phone to the emergency services, that could be quite important and useful. There's plenty of examples of beavers and things even getting gallantry awards in scouting for helping their family members who were in crisis by making phone calls, and they learn to do that in scouts. So certainly try, and if you're going to teach the communicator badge and teach them how to make a phone call anyway, link it into emergency services, because that could actually save someone's life in quite a real way, and that has happened historically even in the past few years from people who've learned how to do that in scouting. See, other than this, there's not too many other ways we can link this in. You would think that something like the international or the global issues badge would link in, because semaphore and phonetic and Morse code being international standards, but sadly that's not really the case. So mostly it's going to be um, down to, as I mentioned, the safety badge. In terms of the Chief Scouts Bronze Award and anything this can be done in relation to that, perhaps if you count one of these as a new skill, that would actually count towards a My Skills Challenge Award, which is to learn at least 3 skills. Although, really, there are a certain list of things to do with the skills, and they're sort of practical skills. Like, for example, being able to roll or fold your own scarf or tie your shoelaces, etc. But actually, learning your own phone number is one of the listed activities and skills as part of the Chief Scouts Bronze Award and the My Skills Challenge Award. So actually, doing this does count in a very real way towards it. Other than that, I wouldn't say there's anything else particularly that you could link this into. If you somehow made this a team activity at the bottom, of having teams trying to work out more complex messages or trying to put together fragments of a message, that would be towards a Teamwork Challenge Award. Um, Separately from this, perhaps you could do something in relation to the My World Challenge Award and essentially how semaphore and phonetic alphabet are international, but that isn't specifically a part of the My World Challenge Award, so leaders be advised on that, I suppose. That's really everything for the Communicator badge. There's a couple of different badge links there I'd advise you try. Um, Perhaps if you tied this in with the safety badge directly, and you also did something with visiting for example, a police station or a fire station, you could do not only the Communicator badge or parts of the Communicator badge, at least with that, and parts of the safety activity badge, but that also would go towards um, you know, other particular parts, like for example the My World Challenge Award, which actually specifically says that you should talk to someone in your local community about what it's like to serve the community, and that would be one of the ways that you take off multiple different things in one shot there for the Chief Scouts Bronze Award. That's everything though. Hope that's been useful. Thank you. Bye bye.